Hello class. In this video, we're going to be covering multiplying decimals using partial products. But before we do, I want you to write in your notebook your full and correct heading, which includes your full name, your first and last, the date, mathematics, your period number, and this assignment name, multiplying decimals using partial products. Pause this video now and write this in your notebook. So I added this video in because there are several students that had asked me if I can create a video using the partial product so that they can review their skills as well. And since we've already covered the section on regular multiplication, I added this into the decimal focus because we are multiplying without decimals and adding the decimals after the fact. So it will be a little bit practice there. So let's look at our first problem. Our first problem here is 12 3/10 times 4 5/10. In the last video, we did it using the standard algorithm, but here we'll do the partial products. But the beginning part is exactly the same. I'm writing my multiplication vertically instead of horizontally because that's the way I like to multiply. And then I'm going to rewrite this without the decimals. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write it without the decimals. Okay. Now, when I use partial products, it's multiplying each individual one and then just listing them down here and then adding them to the end. So you have 5 times 3 gives me 15. So I'm going to write 15. 5 times 2 is going to give me 10, so I'm going to write a 10 underneath. I correct myself here. It's not by 10, 2, it's by 20. 5 times 20 is 100. So I put a 100. Then I have 5 times 100 is going to give me 500. So it's just listing it a bit differently. Now this 4 is actually 40. So 40 times 3 is 120 because 4 times 3 is 12 and we add that 0. Then I have 40 times 20. Well, 4 times 2 is 8 and then I have to add 2 zeros because I have a 20 and a 40. So that's going to give me 800. Then I have 40 times 100. 4 times 1 is 4. 100 has 2 zeros, the 40 has 1, so I have to add 3 zeros at the end. So I end up having 4,000. Now that everything is multiplied, I could then add these two numbers. So 5 plus all these zeros is 5. 1 plus 0 plus 0 is 1, plus 2 is 3, plus 0 plus 0 is 3. 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. So I'm going to bring down the 5 and I'm going to carry a 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. So here is my answer. I'm going to make this so this way we can see that a little bit better. And then I'm just rewriting my answer right over here just the way that it is. So partial products is just writing each step down. But as we did in the standard algorithm, I then have to associate the decimals back in. So I put my two little arrows to the side and I count. There's only one decimal here and there's only one decimal here. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I start at the far right and I move the decimal twice. 1, 2. So I know that my solution then is going to be 5.35, which is pronounced 55 35/100. And then I just circle my final answer. So again, we rewrite it as if there was no decimal. I multiply each one individually and I just list their answers. At the end, I total it. Then I find out how many decimal places were in my original number and I move the decimal over that many spaces. So that's how we work the partial products. This can be a little bit longer of a method than the standard algorithm or using the area model or anything like that. But after our lessons of learning it, you will choose which method is better for you. So pause this video now, write down the question, all of our work, and our answers in your notebooks. Now that we have that in our notebooks, let's look at another problem. So here we have 4 and 3500ths times 1 and 2200ths. So I start off automatically just writing my numbers in a vertical way instead of a horizontal. And then this is actually an X, not a Y, so I don't want to hear it. And then I rewrite it again, but this time I am not using any decimals. I'm just writing my digits in the same order. So now I look at it and I multiply each one separately. So I have 2 times 5 is 10, so I'm going to write down a 10. 2 times 30 is 60. 2 times 400, well, 2 times 4 is 8 plus the 2 zeros gives me 800. Now that I'm done with this 2, I have to move for this 2 now. So this 2 is a 20. So 20 times 5 is going to give me 100. And 20 times 30 is going to give me 600, because 2 times 3 is 6 plus those 2 zeros. And then 20 times 400 is going to give me 8,000. So if we focus on that, 2 times 4 is 8. The 20 has 1 0, the 400 has 2, so we have to add 3 zeros at the end. And then on this one, we have 100 times 5 gives me 500. 100 times 30 gives me 3,000. And 100 times 400 gives me 40,000. And I know this because 1 times 4 is 4. 400 has 2 zeros. 100 has 2 zeros, so I have to add 4 zeros at the end. And then I just draw my line so that I can add them. All right, let me just get rid of that mark because that was not an intentional mark. So I have here all zeros. So I know this part is 0. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus all these zeros stays 7. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 plus 5 is 20 with the rest of the zeros. So I bring down the 0 and I carry the 2. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 3 is 13. 13 plus 0 is 13. So I bring down the 3. I carry the 1. 1 plus 4 gives me 5. Sorry. And then I just rewrite all these digits here. 5, 3, 0, 7, 0. And now I want to go and count how many decimals I have, right? I'm going to actually use it with the red so that we can see. So I have 1, 2 decimals, 1, 2 decimals, and 2 plus 2 is 4. So that note means I need to move the decimal 4 times. So I start to the far right and I count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my solution to this multiplication is going to be 5.3, 0, 7, 0. Or I could just write 5.307. I can drop this last 0 because that didn't change any value. So the proper way of saying this is 5 and 3,070 10,000ths. Or I could say 5 and 307 thousandths. And I'm going to circle this because this is my final answer. I want you to take a moment, copy down the question, all of our work, and our final answer in your notebooks. Now that we have this in our notebooks, I want you to try to on your own, being that we just did too. I want you to show all of your work, and I want you to use partial products. Okay, our question is 6 and 24 hundredths times 2 and 4 tenths. And the second one is 81 and 6/10 times 7 and 9/10. Don't forget, all of your work needs to be shown, and you must solve it using partial products. You may use another method to check your work, but I must see the partial products here. You may review this question or this question and watch the video as many times as you need to solve this. So in your notebook, title it homework, write the question, show all of your work in partial products, okay? And if you're not 100% sure, just do your best and show what you think you're supposed to be doing.